Alan Jones is a fierce opponent of the mine. Where do you sit on it, and are you surprised that it's becoming quite a feature in Queensland Labor politics at the moment?
Well, to start there at the end, Peter, I'm not surprised because some of those federal Labor MPs you mentioned have got the memo. They got the memo from the federal election last year that maybe, just maybe, they should stand up for jobs and workers, as you would think a Labor Party would do. We haven't actually heard from any state Labor MPs yet. I haven't seen a single state Labor MP come out and say they want this mine approved and they want to fight for these jobs. They are still completely silent. And it is quite remarkable that you have people like Senator Anthony Chisholm, someone sort of born and bred in the Labor Party, publicly coming out. Doesn't usually happen in the Labor Party, and I think it shows he and others' frustration that still the Queensland Labor Party are putting the preferences and negotiations with the Greens above the jobs of workers. Now, in terms of Alan Jones, I'm a great mate with Alan. I do have a different view on this. I mean, I think regardless of your view, how can it take 13 years for a company to get a yes or no answer? I mean, if a young boy that was born on the day that this application went in 2007, right now would be getting red pimply things on his face, buying a bit too much Clearasil, and his voice would be breaking. And they're still waiting for an answer. It is a ridiculously long amount of time. They've been mining in this area for over 100 years. There's a whole town called Oakey that would not exist without the mine and won't exist, basically, if this mine is allowed to shut.
Well, talk to me about the Queensland government, because this is the same dance they did at last year's federal election in relation to Adani, and it was only when Scott Morrison was returned and they were under pressure because they feared a real backlash in regional Queensland that they moved on allowing the final sort of stages approvals at a state level, indeed, for Adani. Is this the same dance, and are we going to see a result, the moment after October's election?
Well, I fear we might have to push for that, Peter. It shouldn't be this difficult to get jobs going and secure the economic future of an important town in Western Queensland. But really, New Hope is the new Adani for the Queensland Labor Party right now. They are trying to work out a position on it, just like Bill Shorten. Don't really know whether they're Arthur or Martha, and you can't really vote for a government or a party that doesn't know themselves what they stand for.
And Matt, sorry to interrupt, but this is about preferences, is it? This is about preferences, trying to sell out regional jobs in order to get inner city preferences. Would you say that?
Well, I'm not in the room, Peter. Neither of us get into the back rooms where these Green and Labor preferences are done, but I think that's certainly what it is. This is all about the fact that Annastacia Palaszczuk cannot remain Premier without preferences from the radical Green political party. There's just no pathway. It does not happen. And so if the Queensland Labor Party members want to keep their jobs, they know they have to keep silent on issues like this so they can get those Green preferences and keep their jobs. And they're much more interested in keeping their own jobs than they are in fighting for an average Australian's jobs in a coal mine in Western Queensland.